Just wanted to jump on here real quick to talk about, anyone who's been following me recently would know that I went through some stressful stuff. So I was going to pull out of the comp, and then I decided not to, but I ended up making the choice to coach myself. Like, my coach who I was with at the time was great, but it just became an extra stress for me to be accountable to somebody else. And I thought, well, I know what I'm doing at this point in time anyway, so I might as well continue with my prep. I think there was probably a 2, 3, maybe even 4-day gap where I had decided not to do it anymore, which is a first for me as well, because usually I just cruise through a prep. I wouldn't say cruise through a prep, nobody cruises through a prep, but I'll get through a prep. I'll set myself a goal, make a plan, stick to it. Nothing will get in the way of that. But there was a lot going on. Anyway, that's something else. So what I've been doing is just a little bit of trial and error on myself, because I've had my head in the books studying physiology, studying biology, some extra nutrition studies, just absolutely everything. And I've been wanting to put these things to the test. Like, I have clients who I apply this to, but I wanted to do it on myself. I like to kind of guinea pig myself to really make sure that I know what I'm doing before I do it on somebody else, because I think that's the right thing to do. I don't want to go guinea pigging other people when I've got me. And I've done almost 10 comps now. Once I get these comps out the way, I've done 8 comps. Once I get the states and nationals done, that'll be 10. And I'm kind of getting a little bit too old to compete now, I think. Like, I'm 40 next year, and I don't want to keep pushing my body through all this stuff just to figure things out. Like, I'm happy to do it here and there with things, but prep's pretty stressful, man, on your body. And I'm a single dad, so I've got that to worry about. I've got so many other things, so many outlying things to worry about, that I thought, I might as well take this opportunity now to test things out on myself a little bit. When I say test things out on myself a little bit, I'm not talking about drug use or PEDs fall into that, but I'm a pretty firm believer in a low dose of things, because I think a high dose just causes problems. It's like, if you've got a glass of water, you can fill it up only so much until things start spilling over, and when they start spilling over, that's basically your side effects, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, that's something else as well. But so what I've been playing around with a lot is carbohydrates, fats, and protein, REFEEDS, and all that sort of stuff, because I'm a very firm believer in REFEEDS being a #1 tool to get yourself through a prep. And I've done preps before without a REFEED, and it just didn't work for me. Like, I got there, but I was, a little bit mentally fucked up. I wasn't pleasant to be around at all. At least if I'm happy to go super low days during the week, and then just have a bit higher on the weekend with a REFEED. And personally, all science aside, I believe what REFEEDs work really well in keeping fullness too. I've done it myself many, many times. I've stayed full, I've been lean, like, it's worked really well. So I've been messing around with carbs and REFEEDs and stuff like that a little bit. Obviously, I can hold more carbs than a lot of athletes who are smaller. I don't know. I'm really good with carbs. I always have been. Carbs are my thing. Fats, not so much, because I kind of react fast to the both of them. With carbs, I'll blow up and look full really quickly, and it's a good look. With fats, I'll just start. If my fats are just 5 grams too high from where they should be, I'll start putting on a bit of fat. Anyway, so big believer in REFEEDS. I've been messing around with that a bit lately. I really depleted myself this week. I flattened myself right out. I hit keto. Still hit my fruit and veg requirements. Got all my fiber in that I was supposed to get in. All my nutrients and minerals were there. Supplementation was all there. Like, everything was there, but I decided to, I wanted to become insulin sensitive, so I dropped my carbs only to 48, which for some of you probably sounds like a bit, like bikini competitors and stuff. 48's not so bad, but to me, 48's fuck all. Sweet fuck all. But doable, you know. You can get food volume still. Like I eat a lot of spinach. I mix my veggies up. I get a good mixture of vegetables from all the different families. And I keep my fibre in the right place, which keeps digestion going. And I've now also figured out from guinea pigging myself on how to keep digestion going really good. Well, the right vegetables that work for me anyway, which I have my client Joe on as well, and they seem to be working really good for him too. Like I don't think his digestion's too bad either. I check the sheets regularly, and the sheets is what I run my business through. I check that regularly, and it seems to be everything's going all good. I won't talk about what veggies they are. You guys probably want to know, but I'll, you know, that's for my clients and myself and all that sort of stuff. We won't get too far into detail. Anyway, refeeds and psychologically mitigating things. Keeping your prep psychologically, okay. Giving yourself the ability to get through it easier. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, sorry, I'm losing my words right now. I'm pretty depleted, thirsty, dehydrated, not carved up. But back to refeeds. So usually you wouldn't do this. I did deplete myself pretty hardcore to do it though, with the keto that I just spoke about. I wanted to put myself to the test and see how much carbs I could push in before I started to spill over. Not that I'm dry enough to know exactly when I'm spilling over, because I've done no water load, I haven't diuresed or anything like that. I do piss a lot because I sip a lot of coffee, which is a diuretic. Drink 5 litres of water a day, so I'm pissing all the time. So I'm reasonably dry, but I'm not dry enough to know exactly when I'm going to spill, when I've spilt over. But, you know, I've been doing this for a while, so I can tell. So I managed to push in, first, I was taking photos during the day. First I pushed in 380 carbs. It's not going to happen on the day either, because carbs aren't available in your system for 24 hours after, but you can kind of see when you spill over in the state of depletion I'm in. So basically I checked myself out at 380 carbs, everything's fine, nothing had changed really. I think I pushed in about 800 carbs, everything's still fine, becoming very vascular. You know, obviously not full because, as I said, 24 hours later. What else? I kept pushing carbs in. I managed to keep my fats down to 40 grams for the day, which was 5 grams over what I was on during depletion, which, and I know I said keto, and that's way too low a fat for keto, but this is comp prep. And there's a few rules that can be bent during comp prep, as long as it's not for a long duration of time, as long as, you know, things are kept short and sweet. Proteins also played with a little bit. Anyway, yeah, that day I pushed in, I think it was about 1,260 to 1,280 carbohydrates with fats at 40. I think my proteins were roughly around 240. And the next morning I woke up, still hadn't spilt over, still looked reasonably sharp. As I said, though, 24 hours later, which would have been last night sometime now. Anyway, yeah, like I've figured out that my body can handle about 1,250 grams of carbs. So if I'm to split that up over the days on the way into comp and do things correctly, like this is all a big trial and error for me for a peak week, because I'm doing the States soon. And then when I move to the Nationals, I should be able to really fucking nail it, because I've done all the work, like I've figured things out, I know my numbers, I know what I'm doing, I understand how everything works, physiology, biology, and all that sort of stuff. And I keep saying biology because, yes, I'm on PEDS as well, and you need quite a vast understanding of that sort of thing to keep things safe and to actually know what's happening and going on, and just to really know your steroids, to know what's doing what and what's used for what, right tool for the right job kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, so I figured out I can hold a lot of carbs. Now I know how to mess around with refeeds even more so, which is great. And I'm not saying this applies to everybody, because it doesn't. It applies to myself, and you know, I get to know people's bodies as I coach them. I have a good friend, Stallion. Exactly what works for me pretty much works for him as well, which was great because I picked him into a comp. He was struggling a little bit. I think he had maybe 1, 2, 3. I think he did. He went for I don't know how he did this actually. He went for a trip over to Europe. Stel does this type of thing. He's just a drifter. He'll go from place to place on his own, just enjoy his own company, go on little missions, get to know himself better. I can really respect him for that. Good on you, Stel. Stel, you're a legend. Anyway, so yeah, he was struggling into his comps a little bit. He just wasn't full enough. And he ended up contacting me because I had been coaching him previously, but you know, when you're friends with somebody and you're coaching them, it gets difficult at times because, you know, I have my ways and my methods and everything else, but then Stel has, Stel listens to a lot of podcasts as well. He's a little bit knowledgeable. He has what's in his head, so he's always questioning what I'm telling. He's always questioning my requirements to him. Let's just say that. And you know, it gets a bit frustrating at times. So in the end, he ended up going to get a different coach, and I was cool with that. Like we had a chat about it first. I said, he said, I want to do this, that, and the other, and I said, bro, that's not going to work. I'm sorry, it's just not. That's not the way things work. But he was convinced. Because Stel comes from a powerlifting background. He's only just new to bodybuilding type of stuff, whereas I've been doing this, you know, years and years and years, comp after comp after comp. So he had a bit of a powerlifter's mentality. He's new to things. Fucking smart guy, but yeah, a little inexperienced is probably how I could put it best. So anyway, he ended up contacting me. He was in Europe. He had done 2 comps already. He hadn't placed. Yeah, he had left his coach before that because something happened that wasn't great. I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that. I'm not like that. I don't do that. I don't want to put anyone else down. I just don't. And then he jumped to another coach who's a fucking great coach. I know of him as well. He's very well known. He's an awesome coach. Again, complete different approach to my own. Everybody's got their own different approach. A lot of different approaches work. I'm not saying they're shit. I'm not saying mine's great. You know, I'm not saying mine's, you know, everyone does things different. Anyway, so luckily, Stel's new coach had got him lean as fuck, like he was inside out peeled, so that I can do something with that. I can do something amazing with that, and I did. Well, I don't want to make it out like it's all me, because Stel's the one who put in the work. And fucked if I know how he went to Europe and navigated himself around that place while he had comp brain. If you guys have competed and been in prep and understand how fucking confusing things get, credit to Stel for being able to pull this one off. Like he went over there, he organised his comps, he did fucking everything. Like, I can barely get from fucking my apartment to Coles at the moment. Anyway, yeah, so he's contacted me. I've set him out. We got 2 weeks till his last comp. He's got 1 more comp left. We got 2 weeks. He's in lean condition, so that's perfect for me. I can fuck with that a lot and manipulate things, and I did. And Stel stuck to the plan 100%. Like, I had sorbet on his diet plan, and they didn't, apparently where he was, I think this comp was in Italy, they didn't sell sorbet. So Stel, even with his comp brain, jumps on Google, figures out how to make sorbet, and made his own fucking sorbet. What a legend. So anyway, I dried him right out. So we got 2 weeks to play with you. Dried him right out, pulled his calories down a little bit more, got him even leaner, just really sucked everything in, flattened him out. And then I front loaded him in during peak week. Peak week would have been great for him. I front loaded him, and then we did another few days going dry on a super low, on the super low calories, which I think wasn't too super low. I think it was around probably 2,000 actually, which is not too bad considering his weight was 91, I'm pretty sure, give or take. Yeah, anyway, and then so 3 front loading days, 2 low days again, and then we went a pretty high day. But also with the high days, have to take into consideration things like gut distension, spillage, all that sort of thing. So I've got Stel sending me pictures all day. After every meal, he's sending me pictures, just because if he spills over, then I say, all right, pull it now, that's it, done. Or, you know, the day before comp, you actually want to spill over a little bit. That's when you know you're in the right place. As long as, if you've spilled over just a little bit, you're in the right place. You pull the fucking pin, go the fuck to sleep, wake the fuck up, and then you have your next protocol in terms of what you're going to be doing with carbs. And some people like to use a little bit of alcohol for antioxidants, things like that. There's other things, plenty of other things go into the actual comp day as well. Even what you do before you go onto stage. Physically, there's so many things that go into a perfect fucking prep and what needs to be done to get things just right. Like I'm 1 week out now. This is my peak week starting tomorrow. I'm not doing things the same way I did it with Stel, because I did my little trial 3 days ago, 3 days before peak week, which is good because the purpose is because I'm on the lower end of 90 now. Like by lower, I mean I dropped right down. I'm doing under hundreds. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I'm doing under hundreds. I've been wanting to do under hundreds. I don't care if I'm fucking right on the bottom end of under 100. I think it's my better look. You know, around 92, 93 is my better look for sure. I did the under 90s last time. Those 2 medals behind me, that was from the States, that was from the Nationals. That's been done. No interest in doing under 90s again. So I'm doing under hundreds. This time, because it's more of a trial and error test sort of thing for me with the States, I don't give a fuck who I go against. I don't give a fuck if I win. Everybody always wants to win, but I don't give a fuck if I don't. I don't give a fuck if I don't place even, really. Won't look great for me, but you know, I'm learning so much about everything by doing this. That's the whole purpose. So anyway, refeeds work amazingly, and this is my peak week. My plan is to play it by the day. Like I've got everything already written out on my own sheets, because I'm coaching myself now, obviously, exactly what I want to do and what I best feel will work. There should be a little bit of leeway to play around with carbs if I have to, but I kind of don't want to. I just want to bring it in as lean as possible for this show and get full, and I'm hoping to land on stage at around 92.5, 93 kilograms would be optimal. May not happen. I don't want to spill over. I don't want to look soft. Like I want to keep things looking nice and sharp, but let's see how this goes. I hope that interested you guys in some way anyway. Not that you would have learned anything, but this is part of my story. It's part of my prep. And before my comp, there's Joe's comp as well. So while I'm carving up pre-comp, I'm actually going to be driving Joe to his comps. This is he's a first-time competitor, and fuck, that guy has worked hard. I'll save that for another YouTube video. Anyway, yeah, let's see how this goes.